Hello everybody, my name is Aristide and today I want to check out 3D scanning. More specifically, how easy is it to go from a real life model like these mushrooms or this cube to a 3D printed version like this model over here. To do this, I'll be checking out the MetroY Revopoint MetroY Ultra that they provided to me for free to make this video. But that will not affect my opinions, and neither is this a review. This is more of a look at how does 3D scanning really integrate into my workflow. Let's get right into it by checking out this accuracy test cubes. I'll check out all of the different modes on the MetroY Ultra and how they fare using this cube that has a hole all the way going through it. For this, we're going to use the software MetroY Revo. We have two main modes. The marker mode, where you have to place markers all over your object or around your object to get accurate dimensions. Or you have the feature scan mode, where you need a feature-rich object that you can scan without markers. So the first marker scan mode we have is full field mode. This projects a wider pattern and is best for large objects with a lot of natural geometry. The next mode, and this is my favorite mode you have, is the crossline mode. This projects cross lines using a laser, and it's the highest accuracy. It's a bit slower, but in my experience, it worked super well. After the cross line mode, you have a very similar mode, which is the parallel line mode. You just have fewer lines. It's better for a little bit deeper holes. And the last mode that you have regarding lines is the single line mode. And in my testing with single line mode, I was able to scan the entire 50mm depth of the cube, which I was able to do with no other mode. Next, there are a few additional modes like the turntable mode, where you place the object on a turntable and the turntable automatically just spins around and scans the object. And last, you have the markerless mode, where you can scan an object without markers. But in my testing, this didn't really work at all because the cube doesn't have a lot of features that the software can track. So in this instance, the cube kind of failed in the markerless mode. But markerless mode still works, and I'll get into that a bit later. So my results for this test are quite simple. When I brought in all of the models from Revopoint MetroY into Fusion 360 and made the measurements with my calipers and compared them, almost all of the measurements were plus minus 0.5 millimeters in accuracy. This number is highly dependent on a lot of factors. For example, if I move my mouse in Fusion 360, this 0.5 millimeter difference quickly jumps to a 0.1 millimeter difference. So this is really just the worst case scenario, including human error. And I will talk more about how this compares to using a caliper, the 3D scanner, in a little bit. After that, the next thing I wanted to scan are these mushrooms to see how do organic models fare, especially without markers or with markers. So the first thing I'll be testing is the feature scan in the software, which I so far haven't had very good results with. This is because, for example, with the four-sided objects, the geometry is very simple, and feature scan doesn't rely on markers, but it relies on complex geometry to be able to track where the camera is going. This should be the perfect example, the mushrooms. So to start, I'll press the play button up here. And you can see in the software now, it's taking the scan.
Haven't we made it, my love? Oh, honey, look how we made it this far. Hasn't the pace been a long bit, honey?
And now I'll cut out a piece of this mushroom so I can get a scan of a single mushroom. Now we're talking. This is it, the single largest mushroom. Let me go back to the feature scan, and then I'll do the marker scan with this one, and then we compare at the end. There we go. Creating these models honestly was quite easy. It took me about 30 minutes from 3D scanning to editing without having to leave the software once. and after that it was directly ready for 3D printing. Of course, in the 3D printing slicer I had to activate supports, but to me this proved that a simple 3D scan to print workflow is possible. So next, let's try to have some fun and create some projects. I will be avoiding calipers at all costs to answer the question, do I even need calipers anymore? Let me introduce you guys to the Nuggets Inc. Filament Strength Tester. In the past, I've made some videos about strength testing filaments, and people have complained that the test does not follow the scientific method. First up, Bambu Lab's map puree. I stepped on it and it shattered instantly into dozens of pieces. But I care about you guys. So I built this apparatus. And along with that, I even built these electronics. I combined a super precise load cell with a motor driver, an ESP32 and USB-C PD. And that's all nice and fancy. But what I really need is to attach this PCB to this contraption. So what I'm going to be doing is 3D scanning this guy and the PCB, and then building a case for the PCB that lets me attach the wires and everything properly without an issue and screw it onto these rails. Let's get right into it. And the case is done. Now I'm gonna put my PCB in here. Whoop. Chop these cables and attach everything to the device. Let's go. And there we go, it's finished. It's all in a neat little package now. Let's get on to the next project. I wanted to see if I can scan some camera gear, so I scanned this microphone holder over here. There was just one challenge with it, which is the black shiny plastic inside of it. But in my testing this was no problem at all, and it took me 1 hour from scanning to reverse engineering the model and having a 3D printed version at the end. The dimensions of both of them are exactly identical and everything worked on the first try. Quick and easy. Then there are these tripod feet over here, which I wanted to modify the shape of so I could fit the tripod on a dolly. And the story here is pretty much the same. One quick scan, I brought it into Fusion 360, and within an hour I had a fully recreated model that was ready to print. And it was accurate on the first try once again. Next, I wanted to scan the silver quick release plate for my cameras. I use it to quickly attach my cameras to different tripods around the house. And the challenge here is that it's silver and shiny. So before scanning, I covered the mount with a scanning spray. This is a matte white spray that vanishes into thin air after about 24 hours of use. The spray makes shiny or transparent surfaces 3D scannable. I took 3 scans from different positions and merged them in the software, and once done, I brought the object into Fusion 360 once again to begin recreating this plate. And to be honest, it took me 2 hours, and again, everything worked on the first try. Perfect fit. Now I can just 3D print my quick release plates for my cameras and technically use those for lighter objects or lights. And that's it. That's pretty much how all of my scans went. Scanning itself can require some extra tools like scanning spray for shiny or transparent surfaces, or markers for larger objects, but most of the time I could just roll out my scanning mat, place some 3D printed scanning markers around it, and get a usable scan within 30 minutes. And every project I've made so far, from the Milwaukee battery holder to the box that holds this 3D printed probe for the Makara Z1, everything fit perfectly on the first try. Compared to measuring everything with calipers, this is probably the largest advantage. Instead of measuring every dimension, guessing the geometry, printing the part just to find out it doesn't fit perfectly, I could actually start with a 3D representation of the object and work out the tolerances in Fusion 360. So, for my kind of workflow, 3D scanning has made the process of going from a real-world object to a 3D printed model considerably faster, and not even once did I have to touch the calipers. But life is not perfect. And the biggest issue I found with the MetroY Ultra is the lack of AMD GPU support. Its limitations are the shiny and transparent materials that require extra preparation before scanning. Hold my breath deeply and do a safety squint. And that scanning deep holes is sometimes just not possible. But really, the elephant in the room is the price. The MetroY Ultra costs $2,500 with the calibration box, wireless battery handle, turntable and markers. On sale I've seen it for $1,900 without the calibration box. But after using it for all of these projects, I can say I've been able to scan parts, reverse engineer them, and produce fitting components every single time. So for a hobby, this is super expensive. But if you regularly produce custom components or need them for a business, I do think 3D scanning is definitely worth it. And don't expect it to magically create you perfectly clean step models. It's a tool, you use it for recreating parts and measuring accuracy, and in that sense I will continue using it in my future projects. And really that's it. That was my look at 3D scanning and how it integrates into my workflow. If you guys have any questions about 3D scanning or are interested in the MetroY Ultra or any of the 3D printers I mentioned in this video, I left my affiliate links down in the description. Using those links really helps support the channel, and otherwise, thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye!